The most important accessory for the Quest 3 is the facial interface, as it's the part that makes contact with your face and should be as comfortable as possible in order to give you the most immersive experience. A year ago, I reviewed the AMVR interface, which I strongly recommended as it improved every aspect of the experience. However, I've received more interfaces since then from Kiwi Design, MaeckerVR, Globular Cluster, and more recently AMVR's updated facial interface, which somehow further improves upon the previous model. So in this video I'll compare all four and see which one comes out on top. Kiwi Design's facial interface basically delivers what you'd expect. A PU leather facepad which is easy to clean, ventilated ducts that block all light while allowing your face to breathe, and the silicone nose cover that also blocks light over the nose, unlike the standard interface which has a huge gap that breaks immersion. However, it doesn't have any spacer or depth adjustment, so it's fixed like the standard interface. But for me, it's at the perfect depth and is very close to my eyes. However, I'm also using a lens protector by VR Rock, so it does get a little closer to my eyes than the bare lenses do. As a side note, these not only protect your lenses from damage, but also block blue light and slightly reduce glare. Overall, the Kiwi is a simple yet solid and effective interface that does exactly what you need and nothing more. Next is MaeckerVR's facial interface, which is very similar. It also has a PU leather facepad, a different style of ventilated ducts, and a silicone nose cover. It works just as well as the Kiwi interface, and practically speaking, I didn't notice any difference. However, it does come with two leather facepads and an extra lens protector, so you do get more for your money, and yet it's also the cheapest of the lot. The Globular Cluster interface is a completely different beast. Like the previous interfaces, this also has ventilation ducts and a nose cover, but this is where the similarities end. For the facepads, this comes with three different materials, including PU leather, iSilk, and a very soft fabric cover. Not only that, but they all come in two sizes each, including the standard size and the taller size, similar to the AMVR. So that's 6 different facepads in total, which is far more than the usual. What makes this truly unique is that the interface is divided into 3 magnetic pieces. The part that sits on your face, the 2 magnetic spaces in between, and lastly the part that mounts on the headset. The advantage of this is that it makes it easy to swap between facepads and spacers, which is especially useful if you're sharing your headset with family members. The facial interface also comes in both wide and narrow sizes, so there's something for everyone. So in total, that's 2 different interfaces, 2 spacers, and 6 facepads. Unfortunately, despite the range of facepads and sizes, this wasn't as comfortable for me, no matter how I positioned the headset. I felt more pressure on my cheekbones, which is a problem I don't have with other interfaces. However, I've heard good things from others who say it's the best for them, but some have also had the same problem as me and don't find it as comfortable. So this is quite a subjective one. Lastly, AMVR's new facial interface takes the original design and perfects it.
It was perfect.
Firstly, it has the same extended top, which means more surface area to spread the pressure out across your face, whereas the other interface is concentrated over a smaller area. This is especially noticeable with Elite straps, as all the pressure is solely on the interface. In my previous AMVR review, I raved about the iSilk pad, which feels incredibly smooth to the touch. And now they've somehow improved it further by adding a cooling gel layer in between the fabric and the foam. The cooling effect doesn't last long, but the gel does provide a better seal around the face. The old ventilation ducts were good enough, but still had some minimal light leakage from the top. Fortunately, they've completely eliminated all light this time by making the vents a lot deeper. So you're now completely immersed in VR with no light causing distractions. The silicone nose cover is the same as the old one, which still blocks all light over the nose. Lastly, the old 3-level spacer has been replaced with an adjustment knob that slides the spacer back and forth with much finer adjustment on the fly. You don't even need to take off the headset anymore. Facial interfaces can be quite subjective as everyone has different facial structures, so it can be tricky to recommend one over the other. With that said, if you want a basic interface that simply works as intended, then either the Kiwi Design or MaeckerVR both work great and are widely recommended. But I lean towards the Maker as it comes with an additional leather pad and a lens cover for $18 including my discount, which is the cheapest I've ever seen. If you're sharing your Quest 3 with multiple family members, you might be better off with the Globular Cluster, as it's very easy to switch between covers as they're attached magnetically. Not to mention there's 2 sizes and 6 face pads in total to choose from. I only stopped short of recommending it because it wasn't as comfortable to me compared to the others, but it was still very usable and a lot of people do stand by it. As for my personal recommendation, it should be no surprise that the new AMVR is my absolute favorite.
Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
The previous model was already basically perfect to me, but the new ice silk gel cover, the completely covered vents and the easy adjustment spacer make it the best I've ever used. So I strongly recommend the new AMVR as my #1 interface regardless of what head strap you use. I've tried it with many different Halo straps since and they've all fit fine. Lastly, the price is $29 shipped including my discount, which may be a little more than the Maker, but in my opinion is definitely worth the price. There's 2 different models for the Quest 3 and 3S, which aren't compatible with each other, so do check you've selected the right one. I've left all the links in the description. While the Globular Cluster interface was a bit of a disappointment, the Halo strap is much more comfortable. In fact, it's probably my favorite head strap ever.
Holy Jesus!
All the details will be in my next video, so feel free to subscribe for that. If you found this video helpful, leave a like and let me know if you have any comments or questions below, and I'll see you in the next one.